Welcome to Changing Suits. We're your hosts, Bal
and Taj, discussing the latest news, views, and general life for us Western Asians.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Hi, welcome to Changing Suits. My name's Bal.
And my name's Taj.
Today, we're going to be discussing what or who are your influencers. Now, when we're discussing this, I'm sort of looking at who in your life has really influenced where you are, what you do, what you eat, what you speak. And are you happy with those people or things that have influenced you?
So I think we should start off with, usually should be for us as well, but parents, because they are there from day one.
Hopefully.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're, I would say, the biggest influence in our life to everything that you've just mentioned: eating, sleeping, drinking, looking in the mirror, everything we find like we are influenced by how they do.
Looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
That was such a random.
Well,
I know what you're going to say.
It stems from a session that we ran for one of our workshops in FYI. And basically, it was something that I was thinking about and thought, hey, I've never thought of it like that before. Actually, the basis of it was, if you look in the mirror, do you say to yourself, I love this about myself, I love that about myself, or do you point out all the things that you hate about yourself? Now, I think I've never thought of it like that. And that kind of stemmed basically us doing this workshop, to be honest. And it made us think, hey, what does influence us in our lives? For example, when I look in the mirror, I don't mean to do this, but the kids are around. Not that you go and secretly look at it, but the kids are around. You're like, okay, this looks too, like if you're trying to set of clothes or something. Oh God, I look fat in this. Oh no. Oh, don't worry, I'll lose weight. I'll fit into that. And you don't realize these things are influencing the children around you. Well, your children. Yeah.
Why have you? Okay, so has there been anything that sort of triggered the fact that it's influenced the kids?
Well,
There's a reason you said it, obviously.
Yeah, to be honest, I have noticed that I do it, but yet I haven't put a stop to it. So I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, oh God. Because now I'm going to blame all this lockdown and COVID and stuff like that. But at the moment, I'm pretty big. Probably because I've stopped exercising and stuff like that. So I don't fit into quite a lot of my clothes. And I look in the mirror and I think, oh God, this doesn't fit me. That doesn't fit me. And I'm saying this while my daughter's in the room as well. Not meaning to influence, because you don't mean to influence your children and you don't want to put negative thoughts in their head. But you just do it without thinking, basically.
But then has she then picked up on that then? Has she said anything?
Yeah, she has. Like, for example, I even say, oh, I feel old. And we were walking back from school and they're having tutor day. So everyone was dressing up and their teacher didn't dress up. And this particular one didn't. And I go, why didn't she dress up? And she goes, oh, Mama, she's old. She's boring. I thought, okay. And I go, do you think I'm old? And she didn't answer.
Yeah.
She goes, no. She was a little while. She stopped and she goes, no, Mama, you're not old. You're you're not.
She's
old.
very politically correct, isn't she?
Yeah. And then my son was like, Mama, we love you. You're not old. So obviously that's a negative thing I've already put into their head, being old.
But you know, okay, so you started off with the fact that you think parents influence us. Obviously, our parents influenced us in the same way, which they wouldn't have realised. But I actually had a funny conversation with Dad today. And he goes, so he went to the Godfather, the temple, and someone said to him, oh, are you not going to go and, because he was about to leave, and the person goes, oh, are you not going to go and sit with the Bajorg, the old people?
Oh, God.
Because they all sit down together. Well, no, Dad turned around and he goes, well, I'm not old.
Oh,
right? So I had a bit of a laugh with it. I'm like, of course you're not. Now, anyone that knows our dad, he's got a white beard. He's now mid-70s, so you know, if you look at it, you could consider him as, I'm not going to say the word, but old. But he doesn't see himself that way. So I
Yeah.
had a bit of a laugh with him. I go, you know, Mum was like, "Well, you do have white hair, da da da," and I'm like, "Hold on there, I've got white hair."
Yeah.
And then we had a bit of a conversation of, "Am I actually old?" Because you never actually think that you're old. He doesn't think he's actually old. If
No.
anything, he's trying to do his best to try and still stay young,
Well, he's
right?
doing better than us. He exercises more than us. He eats healthier than us. He does a lot of things better than us, to be honest.
So then, okay, so this then takes me back. So he's having a laugh. He's like, "No, I'm not old," and he's always tried to be active, so he's not old. So then, why are you saying you're old, or why do I say I'm old?
Because I feel old, because we're doing oldie things like, oh, getting into bed at 9 o'clock and
I
stuff
don't do
like
that.
that.
That
Well,
is old. No,
I
joking.
do. So
Yeah.
I have to get in bed at 9 o'clock, and have a hot water bottle because my bones are cold now. Um, but it reminds me of our granddad. Actually, he was another one who didn't ever say that he was old. And when we said to him, "Okay, you're at a point where you need a walking stick," and both of our grandparents were like, "No, no, no," because that symbolizes being old and kind of giving the
No,
world,
do you know actually what happened?
go on there. Oh,
So
there's
he
always,
used to,
we always find out something that, we used to live in the same household. It makes me wonder. Go on then.
so I've been thinking about the walking stick thing because basically Granddad used to say to me, "Blue, shall I use a walking stick?" Because he couldn't walk very well, but he was still out there doing what he needed to do. And I'm like, "No, because old people use walking sticks. You're not old." That's actually
So
why he
you were
decided.
the influencer then?
Yeah, that's a good point though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never thought of it, but that's one of the reasons he didn't use a walking stick.
And you
And
were his favorite. I didn't know that you said that to him.
yeah, and then Granny never was up for a walking stick anyway because she was like, "Yeah, that's old." But the reason I have been thinking about this over the last few days is because I don't know if you saw in the news, because apparently it was big news. The Queen went to
Oh yes, I did see actually.
you
Yeah.
did, right? She
Yeah.
went to a function or whatever she went to, and she used a walking stick. The poor woman is 95. I mean, it's not the biggest news in the world,
I blimmin' need a walking stick now. Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
good on her. Like she's doing what she needs to do, right? But so yeah, I have been thinking
But isn't it
about
funny
that.
that it made it, well, I suppose she's the queen, but isn't it funny that the walking stick made it to the papers? It's like big news. The queen is using a walking stick. Like, okay, she's old, for God's sake.
But I
Give
don't
her.
think she, yeah, but I don't think she thinks she's old either. Because do you remember? I think I told you this, but me being, you know, who I am, I did actually um, have a visit where the Queen came, right? And yeah, but I don't think the Queen thinks she's old either. So we had a visit um, a few years ago where the Queen came to this event, and her and her husband, they were walking so fast. I mean, I get it. They visit
Wanted to
people
get
and
out
they,
there.
yeah, but I'm telling you, they were faster than me. And this was what, about what, 7 years ago, I'd say, 7, 8 years ago. So they were still old in the rest of the world's eyes, but they weren't then. I don't know. It was shocking.
Well, do you know what really made me feel old? This kind of making it all about
Oh,
being
by
old.
the way, I was going to say this whole conversation is supposed to be about influencers, and I don't know where we've done it. Yeah, we picked up on little bits where we're like, yeah, that's an influence. That we're just talking about us being old now.
Or maybe we can go off into being old. But anyway, one thing that really killed me was,
Or
when
didn't.
I went, out, and like basically in the Asian community, if there's someone older than you, you respect them and you call them auntie, or if there's a man, you call them uncle, or auntie G and uncle G. So there was a young child. God, this really killed. But
I
anyway,
understand because this happened to me. I know what you're going to say.
so this was quite a long time ago, about 10, 11 years ago. And he goes to me, "Oh, Auntie G, can you do this, this?" And I was like, "Oh, he called me Auntie." I couldn't get over it. And I couldn't say, "Don't call me Auntie," because rightfully he done the right thing and called me Auntie G. But oh my God, it was like a dagger through my heart, symbolized of being old.
But do you think you'd have that problem now? Like if someone called you Auntie G, or would you just take it in your stride
It
now?
does still niggle a bit.
But you'd be
Um,
better with it, right? Because
I'm better with it, yes. I mean, there was a guy, he wasn't that much younger than me. I'd say about 10 years, and he called me Auntie G, and I was like, "No, no, no, mate. You ain't calling me no auntie." I go, "I'm not that much older than you."
oh, oh,
And he looked like really shocked. Like really shocked. And
that's
I was like,
funny.
"I ain't that much older than you, so no, I'm not your Auntie G, mate."
That's not very nice. He was being nice to you. But yeah,
He
no, okay.
was, but
Okay. We have diverted completely because I had a story about this as well, but we're not going to talk about that because it was a very similar experience. But anyway, our influences. So from this, we've seen that our parents are influencers. We as parents are influencing our kids, whether it's positive and negatives. It's funny how we've found the negatives of how we're influencing rather than the positives, which is another thing I took away from the workshop that we had with FYI. Um, we're very very quick in finding the negatives rather than the positives. As grandkids, we influence our elders in
mm.
what we're going to do. Who else do you think influences you in your life?
I'd say the circle that you have around you is very important as well. So if you've got people that are negative to you, so if you live, for example, in a household where people are negative, you start becoming negative. So you might have come from somewhere that was really positive, and then you might have gone into a household that's really negative. And this quite a lot of Asian women experience actually when they've come. I'm not saying all this happens everywhere. You can't blanket, everyone
Oh,
with the
we will
same.
go on, carry on.
But anyway, we will. And say if you come from a really positive household and then you get married into some household that's really negative, it almost it no, it does affect your mental health, because it's like, oh, I want to build, I don't know, a business for myself, and then you get, no, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. So you're always having these thoughts in your, people almost badgering, no, you can't do this. Oh, I want to go out to eat. No, you can't do this. You can't do that. Everything just turns negative, and that's an influence as well, because then that turns in you into a negative person as well. So the circle that you're in is very important.
Yeah, no, it is all about who you surround yourself with, and this is a conversation we've had
Mm.
just prior to this podcast, by the way, where if you are finding that you're always thinking about something negative, is it worth you being in that circle? Is it worth you talking to certain people if it's having a negative effect? If you're always, fighting or you're, having negative thoughts, what's the point? If you bring yourself out of that circle, and sometimes it is tough, right?
Yeah,
Because it
especially if
could
it's
be your
family. Yeah,
if
yeah.
it could be your family or someone you live with or whatever. It could be a lot harder, but there are ways. Not that I'm saying divorce. That's not what I meant because that's the last podcast. But
Just make them all about divorce.
but yeah, just trying to find that positivity. But then another thing I learned actually from from the workshop and the coaching sessions that I've been doing as well. Um, you've got to also be positive in yourself. So yeah, you may well be uh, surrounded by negativity, but then you can find the positivity within yourself. What is it that you have to be the lighthouse
Yeah.
that then shines around? I know that is very well. I've always liked that analogy. That then
Mm.
brings life to light in other people's life. What positivity can you give to someone else as an influencer yourself? I
Yeah.
mean, especially in a world where social media, we said influencer, and obviously the first thing I think of now in this modern day world is social media, influencers on there.
Mm.
You always have this thing of, oh, in fashion, for example, why are they always skinny models and this, that, and the other? Well, they're influencers, and that is what's impacting our communities that we live in and the world that we live in, right?
Yeah, just all right, this going off, and we usually go off. But for example, there's this whole thing about Black Lives Matter and etc., like having more culturally diverse I don't know, programs, etc. So now in my mind, at the back of my mind, if like there's something, even a poster I see or something like that, so you've got all this flood of white people and then you've got one colored face in there, I think, yeah, token. And that's now what automatically comes in my mind. It's like just to make it diverse.
Yeah, but that's still a good thing that they've got it in there. I
It's a
mean,
good
how
thing.
do you not? Okay, as soon as you see, for example, if there's a thing on the TV in an advert, you're like, oh, there he is. Like it's like spot the thing. I know, but it does. It gives positivity that they are sort of acknowledging
Yeah,
that
no, it is.
you
It's definitely a
you're
good
there,
thing.
right? Even if
Yeah.
it is just for the token reason, that little bit has been like actually they've realised that there's more than what used to be on TV or on adverts. So
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, for example, when you see other people that you can relate to do well, you kind of say to yourself, "Oh, I can be like that person. I can, do well as well." For example, one of my friends, he's pretty young and he's doing really well for his age. And I think, wow, and he's gone on to manage. He's almost getting promotions so often. And I think you're young, and he's a black young guy, and the associations with that is, oh, black people, they're not educated, blah, 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 they don't do well. But this is a guy that's doing so well, and he can influence how other people feel and do and think, hey, yeah, you're doing well, I can do well.
but then, do you not think that just generally, as soon as you see anyone with, for example, similar ages, for example, how they're doing, which one's taller, the height thing, and the how they're reading, how the education is, it happens automatically, and this has happened throughout our whole lives. This is one thing I do remember, and one thing that is amazing is that I do remember it in the first place because I don't
That
remember
is a
much,
very good point. Yeah.
right? But it is that comparison of like for like. So you've got a sort of I don't know, a gauge as to whether you're on the right path, I guess.
Yeah, I think you do that as a human being. You want to see yourself, yeah, you see yourself in other people.
So the influencers, but is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because how does that influence you? Because then, if you're the person that's got the slightly negative in that comparison, how then does that impact your life?
Well, then you start seeing yourself maybe negatively as well, like confidence. Let's talk about confidence now. One thing that I can say is some people don't feel confident about themselves. Now I wonder where that stems from. There might be, like, if you look into someone's past or even present, actually there'll be a reason why you don't feel confident. Is it, for example, with our parents, they didn't mean to do this, there isn't a reason behind it, and I completely understand it. If we done well at something, they used to say, and they still do, is don't explode and make it so like bigger than what it is. As in, don't show the world that you're doing so well and you get so up there emotionally that when something bad happens, you crash down. So it was like they were protecting us. So I don't think that was in a bad way.
But then, do you think that then has? And now you've said that, it's interesting because it sort of made me think. I know what you're talking about because the whole thing, especially in the Asian community, is oh, if you say that you're doing really well, no, don't lag jabe, that you don't get what's the word?
Jinx it, jinx
You
it.
don't jinx it. You don't jinx it. So, and that sort of
There is that because,
aspect of it.
yeah, because people don't like to share too much with each other. And this is a big thing in the Asian community. Like, for example, I don't know,
But do you know what? I really do think, as I've grown older, I feel like that is true though, the nudge thing. Only because, when you have a child, when a baby's a baby, right? And then like, and someone asks, "Oh, how do they sleep?" And you'll say, "Brilliant. That child is, sleeping throughout the night. I don't have to worry about them." And then that night you say it, it will be the complete opposite. You've jinxed it. I really do believe it.
yeah, that has happened to me quite a few times. It's like the energy that you put out there. It's like, yeah, if you put out there that, yeah, it's all going well, then it goes the other way around. And it has
Well,
happened when my kids were young as well. And that's so I do it as well. I didn't used to share that they went to sleep well one night, because if I said it the next night, damn, they were going to stay awake the whole night and cry. So, and then with Asians as well, you find that quite a lot of them, if their kids are doing tuition, no one shares it with anyone else in the community, because I don't know what is behind that. It might be that they don't want, I don't know, the competition.
it would be the competition. Of course, it's the competition. Because, like I said, surely the fact that all kids in that class range will be the same, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and
So
then you're competing against them. Yeah.
what it is on a small scale, and then you get to a bigger scale. Yeah, it
Well,
would be
I
that.
knew a lady, and her daughter was going to do 11 plus, and we were just generally talking about tuition and stuff like that. And she said, "Oh no, my daughter didn't have any tuition." So I was like, "Okay." So I spoke to one of my friends, and I go, "Oh, it was just by the by conversation." She goes, "No, her daughter's got 4 different tuitions that she does."
Oh wow.
And I wasn't bothered that not that it would bother me anyway that she'd done tuition. I was bothered that she lied to my face,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
blatantly. There was no flinching, no like, oh my God, I'm lying to this woman. It was a blown out full, yet nothing on the facial expression, nothing on the face, lie. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't
Yeah.
know. And then I felt different talking to that person. I was like, yeah, if you can lie like that, not that it was the biggest thing in the world, not like the world had ended, but I just don't like liars.
So many things that you've said where I've wanted to sort of interject and say, oh yeah, going back, because I think this is a really important point. So yes, we have influences. Yes, that then takes you forward and it affects you. But I'm reading a book at the moment, um, and what it says is yes, whatever your past has been, whatever in this case would have influenced you, it is your choice then to act the way you're going to act. So the cause of something doesn't mean that the effect of it is automatic.
You're allowing it to be the effect, you mean?
You're allowing it to be the effect.
Is how you handle the situation. How, for example, if someone hits you, not the saying that you'll do this, you'll either laugh at it or cry at it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So
Not
you
yeah,
can't,
exactly that, but I get where you're coming from. Yeah.
and this is where, so I always find it interesting when I read books like this, and it's like, actually, that's a really good point. The cause does not equal the effect. The effect, there's a bit in the middle where it's like, actually, this is your choice as to how you're going
Well,
to do it.
that's funny to say because we've been brought up in the same household, but yet quite a lot of topics, we have got quite a lot of similarities. Can't say that we haven't, but quite a lot of things we do differ our opinions on. Um, Lately, you've changed your opinions, I suppose, with experience.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. We've all changed our opinion, not just me.
Well, no, all of us have, but yeah, yeah,
It's
we
called
all have.
learning. It's called learning.
That is true. Yeah, yeah. But it's funny that we've, been brought up in the same household, but yet on certain topics we just got such completely different views.
Well, the other thing that I've really found funny throughout these podcasts, although I laugh at the fact that I don't remember some of the experiences, some of the negative experiences that you talk about, maybe I don't, I just can't remember them. And there was something you said, and I found it funny. You're like, is that's probably why you got your head in the clouds. But then I feel like
But this is the cause and effect that you've just been talking about. So say something's happened, you've dealt with it in a different way to than how I have. Maybe I've let it impact me more than you have, or you've just handled it in a different way. Coping strategy, I suppose.
and then it comes down to maybe this is where my brain has filtered out that whatever happened for it
Like
not
you
to be
do with an
important.
exam, isn't it?
Exactly. So it wasn't important to me. So I filtered it out and then used that brain power. There we are on something else.
Yeah.
So
It is like, for example, wasting energies.
yeah,
Like, I think as you get older, you start thinking, okay, do I want to waste energy on this person?
yeah, completely. I agree with this.
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
And then you start questioning yourself. I think also with the life, what's happened with COVID, no matter how much we hate that word, but it has affected our lives a lot. And it has made us reevaluate the way we act, what we do. Um, and basically, yeah, we think, okay, we've got so many things to do in our lives, and you think, do I want to waste energy on someone that brings negativity to me, or do I want to waste my energy, not waste then, onto positive things? So you wouldn't call it a waste because it's a positive thing in your life.
The other thing is, it's not only people that will influence us. We know that people around us will have an effect on you. Obviously, how you deal with it is up to you. But major events. I think I said this on another podcast. I mean, a big turning point over the last few years for me has been when Marcy passed away. And she wasn't that old, and the illness was very quick in how it happened, and it was a shock to all of us.
Mm.
But out of it did make me think. And I remember there was just before her funeral, it there was a conversation I had with one of our cousins. It was a case of, how is it that we are only getting together when something negative happens instead of something positive,
Mm.
right? So it's things like that. And then from that, do I really want to be doing things in my life that are negative, that I'm not enjoying?
What,
Because,
going to funerals?
well, my outlook on funerals is the fact that you should be going to them anyway, because we are that negative person, are we? So, but no, the point is, do you want to waste your energy on doing things that you're not enjoying? Are you actually, here's the thing, are you actually happy in what you're doing? And if you're not, then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Because, right? So yeah, events are massive in our lives. They can be turning points. The other thing I sort of want to touch on is friends. Now, in the Asian community, we know how important family is. And I find it funny sometimes talking to different friends. And one thing that you tend to find with some people is, well, if you don't get on with your family, you've got your friends. The
Are
family
you
is
trying to tell me something, Belle?
no.
Yeah, you have to say no.
No, but okay. So what they say sometimes, not me, is
Yeah, whatever.
is that they're your chosen family rather than the one that you've just been born in. Not just been born in, because that's pretty important, right? So how much effect and influence do friends have in your life? And you've got some very good friends. Not that I don't have. That sounds so bad. That doesn't mean that I've got very bad friends.
I might go to your friends and tell them to listen to this particular bit.
Well, let's hope that these friends that are listening, they should be supporting this and listening to it anyway, shouldn't they? They'll know. They'll come across it. Yeah. So yeah, they're your chosen family. What do you think about that?
No, I have a really good friend.
What a really negative way. No, I have a really good.
Oh yeah, that's negative in itself. I've got a really good friend, and literally, she has helped me make life and death decisions.
And
Literally,
that's literally, yeah.
literally. But you'll find that out in later podcasts. What I mean about that. She's been a really big influencer in my life. I mean, for example, if I go through something bad in my life, I will talk to her and she'll be like, get over it. No, she won't. She'll calm me down and make me see the positive side of things. And I think that's a good friend to have, someone that will always, it might be the worst thing in the world that happens, but they'll be there, they'll calm you down, be like, actually, it's not so bad. Think about it rationally, blah, blah, blah. It'll be fine. Yeah, so I have got really good friends around me, I must admit.
But
But
do
my
you?
family are important as well, just in
Of
case they're
course.
listening. They're
What do you
very
mean?
important.
You're talking to me.
That's true. You might report back to the rest of them.
Of course. Okay. See, on the friend thing, I think, and this is with me. When I was younger, I didn't put the value of friends that high, and this is really bad because I've got some really old friends that I've known for a long time. Where again, on the influencer side of it, it was a case of I didn't talk about my life. I mean, I didn't, we were young, we didn't have that much of a life, so not too much to talk about. But I wasn't that open with them. As I've grown up and I've grown older, I have been a lot more open. I will tell them things that I'm thinking. I'll do a bit of a bitching session if I need to, and I'll do these things, have a bit of a gossip,
Mm.
have a bit of a laugh, right? And that's only happened quite in the last few years where I've been that open. And that I find with some of my closest friends now is it's made us closer. And the influence of that has been, I tend to be a lot more positive. I'm more of a, most of the time, I feel like I'm a glass full type of person, but deep down, I feel like I am actually a glass half full kind of person. Or no, half empty. That's
Half
that's
empty.
what it, half empty. So yeah, I find that friendship has become more important to me now than it was before.
More important than family?
Not more important. No, I'm not saying more important for family, but I feel
I'm
like
making
some.
you choose. I'm making you choose a side.
No,
Choose
I just
wisely.
no, no. I'm just saying. Oh, this is making me feel nervous, actually. No, I just meant that I'm a lot more open, and there are conversations I'm happier to have with my friends than a lot of members of my family.
So now I've learned all this from you. I'm going to go back to the family and actually tell them what you said. And actually, they should be listening anyway. But I'm going to make sure I highlight this section to them.
No, but you do understand. I do get that concept now of your chosen family, because your friends are the ones you'll choose, the ones that you get on with, that bring positivity most of the time
Yeah,
to your life.
yeah.
Whereas you might have a family, like you said earlier, where you've got that negativity, where you can't actually get away from that. But hey,
Hey. So, talking about just Asian families, one of the things with Asians is that cousins are really important. So the wider family is so important. I mean, we used to go around to our cousin's house pretty much every weekend and spend the weekend round there. They used to wake up in the mornings really early when we used to get dropped around there, and we used to play dollies, which is very important.
dollies,
Um,
yeah.
Dollies, Barbies. You didn't get a Barbie, but anyway,
But
I won't rub it in. You got some
you
cheap.
just totally did. This is going to be a public podcast, so you kind of did
Um,
just chuck it in.
yeah, it was some cheap tap that you got, but anyway.
Why do you think I ended up like this? That's the influence of what I am.
So yeah, so family cousins are really important in our life as well. I mean, like we are very close to our cousins, and quite a lot of all of our things that we go through, like planning weddings, will be done through with our cousins. So this is how big an influence our cousins are. So for our weddings, we are pretty laid back people generally, and we do everything lastminute.com like
I was
Asians
going to
do.
say laid back is the right way of saying it, isn't it?
Yeah, we're basically known as the late family. Well, we were before we got married and everything. So we're sitting there, and I think it was a couple of weeks before the wedding, and our
Oh
cousin,
yeah, totally. Yeah, I remember this.
she's like, "Right, have you sent out the wedding cards?" I'm like, "What? It's a couple of weeks left till the wedding," and she's like, "Oh my god!" So she literally got the pen and paper, well, the cards out, and literally wrote all the wedding cards out, and made us like deliver them and everything. That's how big an influence you know, cousins are in an Asian family.
No, everyone's got their role in an Asian family, that's for sure. And we were the lazy ones, or otherwise known as laid back ones. Okay, all right. So earlier I did touch on this, and I think this is important because as we bring up our kids, what is it that we want them to be influenced by? And social media specifically, is a massive thing now, and will be, I'm sure, later on in their lives. What can we do as parents to make sure that's positive?
Well, one of the things that we can definitely do is make sure that we've got all the security that we need if they have access to.
The
Why are
security.
you gonna laugh?
Because as soon as we've started this topic, all you've done is gone to the negative. Like,
I
I could have
didn't
been talking
realise
about
that.
something positive, but you've just gone straight in. Of,
I
I'm
can't think of
gonna put,
anything positive. That's why.
I'm gonna put all of the security measures in place so my kids are secure and no one negative could come near them. Like, I wasn't
I
talking
was
about
not going to
security
even
measures.
say
Okay, go on then. What were you going to say?
no, spinning it to make it positive to keep them safe. That is a positive.
Well, all right.
Like for example, like if you're having Facebook accounts and Instagram accounts, which are big thing, which I'm not going to let my kids have till they're quite a lot older, but they
Yeah.
do see me on quite a lot of social media because I must
But then
admit,
that's going to influence them. Okay, fine. But which
I
we
must admit.
sort of
But my
realised.
daughter always says to me, "Oh my God, Mama, you are wasting your life. What are you doing?"
You're wasting
Sometimes,
your life.
sometimes I wonder who's the parent of her or me, to be honest.
Yeah, Fair enough.
So while she's reading her book to me, I'm looking on social media.
And the funny thing is, that is so true because I've seen it.
So I do get told off by her, and she's only 9. Yeah.
Most of us get told off by our kids, though, to be fair, on you.
I mean, one of the things with celebrities as well, like sometimes the kids come home and my daughter's singing a song and it's got the word. I know I don't like swearing at all. She's saying "shut up, shut up." I can't even remember the songs. It's something "shut up, shut up."
Just
I'm
shut
like,
up, shut up.
I don't know what the song is because I'm not really into Western music anymore.
You're not okay.
And so basically, she'll be saying these lyrics, and I'll be like, "Oh my god, what are you singing?
Can
What
I
are
just
they
say,
teaching?"
okay, can I say, okay, I know I'm diverting back, but this actually reminds me, I don't know if you remember, but I swore once. And when we go back to cousins, so one of my cousins did
Oh
actually
god.
wash my mouth out with soap. And yeah, that wasn't a pleasant, and she literally put soap in my mouth to wash my mouth out. Of course, if we spent more time together now, I would literally have soap in my mouth all the time. So I'm not sure her influence of sticking soap in my mouth worked.
Worked.
No. Okay, sorry, can't carry on.
So yeah, like even for example, songs and stuff like that, their influence in our lives. And that's why I don't listen to quite a lot of music these days. There is music out there that is good, but I think it messes with my aura.
Your aura.
Yeah,
See,
my
I don't
aura.
know. I think
I mean, there is happy music. I'll listen to the old stuff
no, but
with
it's not
meaning.
just wait a second. Wait a second, old person, right? Sometimes you just want to listen to music to
A bit of
sing
bungalow.
really no, sing really loudly and just have a bit of a dance, even if it's got a few swear words that you are too posh for, right? I've been listening to more music now, and I find that it actually puts me into a better mood. That's the whole point of music, right?
Well, I
It puts
listen
you
to
in a good mood.
but I think this is all to do with an individual. I listen to more meditation music,
But
and
then why does it
that
have to
makes
be
me
one?
happier.
Wait
But
a second.
I'm not saying that for everyone. I'm saying that for myself.
But I'm saying, why do you have to say that I listen to meditation music and I must only listen to that foul rap music that, is hardcore because I swear like crazy? That's not true. You can listen to both. I
Yeah,
know
I'm
it's
not
crazy.
stopping it. I'm not stopping anyone from listening from both. This is about me, and I
Okay.
don't want my kids to listen to swear words, even the word "shut up"
Well,
in
she
music.
obviously is. Whilst you're sitting there on Instagram, she's got her headphones on listening to whatever she's listening to.
No, that her and her dad they do, and my son they
Her
listen to
dad. Yes, it's her dad that's at fault
dad.
here.
They all listen to like various kinds of music, and they we actually went on a family holiday with their
Yeah, that's.
cousins, and my everyone had the kids in their car at some point, and I made sure I avoided that car, so I
Mhm.
was out the kids for quite a lot of the holiday, which was brilliant. And he was in the car with all the kids, and they were just singing away. They were so happy, and that was the fun car because they were screaming their heads off. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with listening to music. I just don't want swear words in that music.
Okay, got you. Whoa, what a prune. All right. But then, okay. So in regards to celebrities, because again, we touch on things and then we divert. But you, the first thing as soon as I said celebrity social media was security for you, right? Get all the
Yeah.
security measures in place.
Well, I
But
do live with a husband that's IT crazy. I mean, I can't even put the lights on without. I can't put them on with the switch. I have to use Alexa or Siri. I can't even put the lights on. I have to bring the kids in to put on the lights on.
so see, this is the funny bit of this is where we're very different. So I'm the opposite. Although we've laughed at the fact that you put security measures on everything. It's not actually in reality the truth. I'm more likely to put more security measures on because I don't actually trust technology at all. As
Yeah.
I yeah, so but okay, right. Going back to it, what about the positive sort of effect of celebrities? Now, for example,
I'm really thinking.
no, I'll give you an example. That's why I was going to give you an example because I'm not. I know you're not going to be able to think of anything. Right? Okay, so Scarlett Johansson, for example, and I don't know why I thought of this, but it
I
did
don't know
a
who
few
that
weeks.
is, to be honest, but anyway.
Shut up.
I don't know if I should admit that.
Scarlett
Probably if I
Johansson.
probably if I Google it and see her face, I'll know who it is.
Okay, I'm gonna Google this whilst and I'll show you whilst I'm talking.
I
So
know this is probably going to be so embarrassing that I don't know who it is, but I don't. I admit it.
yeah, that is embarrassing.
I have no
Okay,
shame.
all right. Let me just tell my story now.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
Scarlett Johansson, just to let you know.
Yeah, I do know her. I just didn't know her name.
Okay, all right. So a few weeks ago, you still don't know who she is. You're
No.
just pretending. I'll tell you later. So anyway, so she had a lawsuit against Disney, right? A little while ago. And basically, it was because they had streamed the movie that she was starring in, and
Oh, I remember us talking about this actually. Yeah.
right. So she did it. It was in cinema, and they streamed it on TV because obviously that's what happened, especially during COVID, right?
Mm.
And they settled. First, what Disney did, I probably shouldn't say this so much, but anyway, Disney tried to say, oh, she got paid this much, and basically be quiet. You got paid enough. Now her
Mm.
contract stated that they should have waited to stream it. Now they basically settled out of court, I think it was, and what it made me think was Disney was trying to break her down by saying, well, you got paid enough, so there we are. Except they went against a legally binding contract. Right
Mm.
now, I don't know if it's because she's a woman, so they thought they could smash it out and out of the ballpark, make it look greedy and whatever, right?
Mm.
Which is another whole subject, right? But they settled, and I was just thinking, like, she's a strong woman. She was, I don't know if any other celebrities have done it, but she really made a stand. But news stories like this are, I think, a positive thing for our kids because it's a case of, well, if someone actually does something wrong, regardless of how big they are, it should be called out. I know
I
this
agree.
is that,
Mm.
so there is that positive stuff, especially when it comes to, you just spoke about um, your friend that's black and is doing really well at work,
Mm.
right? Women that are smashing it and doing really well. These are positive influences on our kids. And
Yeah.
if we talk about these stories with our kids and show them, I mean, I was talking to someone today about, I've started a martial arts class with my
Mm.
kids. And one of the reasons I've done it is to show my daughter, well, she needs to be doing this stuff as well. I try to
Yeah.
exercise in front of them so they realize that it's not just, you know, dad that's exercising, but I'm doing it as well.
I tried to eat in front of my kids, but they haven't improved their eating. But anyway.
Okay, fair enough. But do you see, okay, so we can find the negatives of celebrity and social media, and
No,
there
there
are
are loads of
tons.
positives. There are loads of positives, and I just couldn't think of anything straight away, which shows how negative my mind is.
But on that point, so I'm going to do a negative only because you just said that, right? Because I like to be a bit controversial, so I just want to go against anything you say, right?
Mm.
Apparently, Facebook and a lot of the social medias do actually tend to have algorithms that favor negative stories over positive ones.
Well, that's
So
because it
racism,
sells.
it
Yeah,
sells exactly.
yeah.
So although I laughed at the fact that you said security measures this that, and the other, but that's what sells. That's what gets people talking. That's what gets people back on their social media, apparently, which I think is true.
Well, yeah, you like a little positive story, but that doesn't last very long because mud sticks, as they say, isn't it?
Yeah. So it does. Going back to the fact that all this stuff is influencing our children. The world around them is negative. And on that point, no, I'm not going to finish that on that point. Let's just finish it off on a positive. And although there is that negativity perhaps in social media, we as parents have to then be the positive lighthouse for our children. And on that point, thank you for listening. I'm Bal.
And I'm Taj.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you'll never miss an episode.